What's going on? I'm just sitting here doing some work here by a lake where my sister lives in Spokane, Washington. I'm actually watching this guy train his labs to fetch, looks to be water floats out in the lake. They're swimming back and forth to get them. It's so cute. But anyway, enough of that. I wanted to talk about something. This is where it kind of bridges the gap of living in an RV, whether you build your own RV van or whether you have an RV, as a cool backup power source. But it's also a good connection. It's just kind of, I was sitting here thinking, it would bridge the gap between musicians who travel. There's a lot of musicians out there like me, compose music and live full-time in RVs or however they choose to. Even if you don't, you're out somewhere. This gives you, what I'm about to show you gives you, it's just amazing options on portable power. Like, you could sit literally anywhere. I mean, I just bought, as you see from the description of the video, I just bought an Inergy Apex last week. It actually came in last week. I guess it's about a week and a half ago that I purchased it. Energy, I guess, I don't know if they pronounce it Inergy or Energy. Looks like Energy with an I to me, but that's all relevant. Great company. They're out of Pocatello, Idaho. It was funny because when I called them, I mean, their customer service was amazing. I said, I just drove through Pocatello, Idaho. I could have stopped by and picked up one of these things, you know. It would have been so cool. And I wasn't going to do it right now because I love solar, but, you know, before I invest in a bunch of solar, I just want to know that I'm going to do it in something, you know, I don't know how long I'm going to keep this RV. You know, I want to do it in something that I know is going to be permanent in a certain situation. The particular RV that I have has pretty good charging options. I mean, I have a generator, charges while I drive, and the obvious shore power. If I were to build my own RV van, I would have solar panels probably on it. I don't know if they would be flat or what they would be, but I would probably pick up that third or fourth option. It would be 3 in that, 4 in this. The fourth is a generator. I wouldn't have a generator if I had other options in something that small. I had originally thought about building my own. I did. But I just figured, let me buy an RV and go that route, and it'll tell me what I want in the future if I do. And honestly, it's kind of got me thinking that eventually that may be what I want to do. And this unit will power it. I'm telling you it will. I'm seeing guys out there with the Jackery stuff, and they're powering it with those, and those are a lot smaller units. This thing here is massive. I mean, it has a 1500 watt inverter. I just charged up last night with the cigarette lighter plug, and I'm amazed at the rate of charge with that. How, and it's charging now. How it was 76%, it's already at 90% in less than 15%. I mean, in less than 15 minutes. I can't talk, sorry. It's from 76% to 90% in 15 minutes or less. It's a very good charge rate coming out of my cigarette lighter plug. Now, I will tell you, Energy will tell you, if you are going to charge this with your cigarette lighter plug on your car, make sure that the 12 volt socket has a 20 amp fuse on it. So I had to get up under the hood. This is a ProMaster chassis, and it had a 15 amp, so I replaced it with a 20 amp fuse. Because they've had a lot of people with the 15 amp, I guess, blowing the fuses when it shouldn't have been. And 20 amp is fine. I mean, it should be a 20 amp. I mean, you got a 20 amp on the 6 volt sides, but there's a lot more 6 volt USB sockets than there are 12 volts, so it's probably a distribution of current, and I get why it's you know, a 20 amp fuse. But either way, you should be good on that. But as for a musician, and I'm looking for alternative power options, instead of getting solar and really putting $5,000 in a crazy inverter and a bunch of stuff, this Inergy Apex was ideal for me late at night when I couldn't run my generator. Just plug my laptop and stuff in. I mean, you've got a 30 amp plug right here where you can plug into an RV, and I'm not going to go into that. There are other videos. Just look this thing up. There's a guy who plugged this thing in his RV, and all the stuff he has running will blow your mind. That's the guy that actually kind of got me with the decision I was torn on to buy this. Like I said, I wasn't going to get solar panels, but I got 3 of the Lynx, what would technically be flex panels, but these panels are a bit more rigid than the typical Flex that I'm seeing out there. They look like they're very well made. I still don't think they're panels that could be long term on top of an RV or something, because the sun can bake them, weather can have an adverse effect on them. And I still think at this point rigid panels are probably better. However, on the flip side of that, these Flex panels are probably better if you had a hailstorm than the rigid where it would break the glass. It's all relative, it's all preference, it's all whatever you want, but I'm telling you, this thing is amazing. The only thing, I'm not going to say the only thing I've charged it up with is my cigarette lighter plug, because I did charge it up at the house on the AC, and it did a good job. I don't know why I feel like the rate of charge on this is about the same from the cigarette lighter plug, or better. They do tell you usually your best option is AC, but it seems like it charges up amazingly. I have a Jackery 240. I used it. I didn't have, and that's the one thing I think Winnebago failed on this unit, is 12-volt sockets. For my CPAP at night, I couldn't plug it in and run it off 6-volt. I had a 6-volt to a 12-volt inverter for the CPAP, but there wasn't enough current on that 5 to 6-volt USB to run the CPAP. So I wired a 12-volt socket back that works beautiful with it. However, I've got a little backup 12-volt chest fridge that didn't run it, and I knew it wasn't going to do it because it was a shared current line. Wasn't enough current to, you don't hear that fan kick in, it's not going to run it. So that's why I got this as a backup for a lot of things. And it's about a 90, I think that average consensus is about 90 amp hours of a battery on this thing. They are coming out with a battery that is expandable. I mean, you can expand this thing out to 400, 500, 600 amp hours if you wanted to. I mean, they haven't really talked much about how much you can expand it to, but you have to remember one thing. On these Inergy Apexes, the maximum amount of solar panels you can put on is 500 watts. So if you're relying solely on solar panels to charge this, and say you have 600 amp hours or more than 500 amp hours of battery bank, just remember it's going to take a lot longer the more batteries you put on here to charge this thing. It's a rate of, you probably want more coming in to trickle charge this thing than you've got going out. So it keeps the rate of charge and keeps this thing more of a steady charge in these. And that's really with anything that you do solar. I think the beauty of this is having alternatives to charge. Cigarette lighter plug is a beautiful one. AC. I can kick the generator on this thing and put the AC on this RV. That's a third option over AC instead of finding a plug somewhere. So in all of these options that we have in power for portability, I've learned that I really don't mind a generator as bad. I think a generator serves a really good purpose. I think it serves a fantastic purpose. It's just another good option. And if you can carry a generator as a backup, it's probably good to do. And I get why some people, they're loud or they don't want to carry it with the gas and all that, and I totally get it. This particular RV, it's a Winnebago Trend 23L. It has one. It's Cummins owning 2800 built into it. Speaking with Cummins the other day, I had to go get a fuel filter for this thing. They're like going, man, that's a little too small for that RV. I'm like, yeah, well, now you tell me. But it may be a little too small only because you can't run the microwave and the AC at the same time. And that's with a lot of RVs. But I'm not going to go spend $5,000 for a 4,000 generator up under here that can run both at the same time, because that's not really that big a deal. I don't care. I can turn the AC off to run the microwave. Doesn't matter to me. But I will tell you, these Inergy Apex units are absolutely amazing. The customer service for these guys are amazing. I couldn't have asked for better. I paid for this thing, guys. I'm just going to tell you, it wasn't given to me. I don't have a YouTube channel where they're sending me these things for free. I mean, I wish it would be cool. For the amount of money I spent on this thing, it would be very cool. I did get, they were cool about honoring a 20% discount, and I think this unit was right around a little over $1,500 without the discount. Panels were not too bad in price. I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, I got this unit. I got an EC8 car charger. It was extra. They threw in the base camp lights. I really didn't need those, but I've got them. And a wall charger. And the 3 solar panels, the Link solar panels, with the 20% discount, everything came to right around $2,000. It's not bad. Those solar panels, those Lynx ones, are more expensive than their rigid. They do have a rapid wall charger coming out. It's going to be of about 189 watts, I believe. It's supposed to cut the charge time in half for a wall charger and on AC. And depending on how this goes, which I think so far it's going to go well, it's amazing. I'm going to get it. If I were to build my own RV van, this box right here I'd use to as a sole power unit for that. I mean, this thing would power a whole RV. I mean, I would probably pick up a couple of battery pack expansions and have almost 300 amp hours worth of battery, but that's all you need. This thing is amazing. I mean, I love it. I could go into a lot more, and I do have a strong technical background in electronics. That's what my degree is in, but there's a lot of guys out there that are giving you the technical specs on here. There's a guy named Rvr'S. Will is a solar genius. If you want to know about solar, will tell you. Rvr'S is amazing, but there's a lot of other guys that are great too. There's a site called explorers.life. I'm Not Lost, I'm RVing. Thomas West is doing an amazing series on solar. Go watch that stuff. It's called I'm Not Lost, I'm RVing. He's another one. Rvr'S, I think, kind of overstepped or jumped the gun on this unit. He really butchered it and gave it a bad review because the switch broke. Listen, that stuff happens. This switch, yeah, it's a little on the negative side. The switch is a little weird. I don't worry about it breaking. I worry about when you brush up against it, it turns it on. It happened to me the other night. I think the momentary switch it would have been better like it was on the Kodiak. I think maybe an extra switch is an option for AC and DC, or just, would have been perfect. You have less chances of accidentally turning it on and draining it with momentary switches. So, but Will just kind of gave it, I think he's just too hard on it when it's an amazing unit. I really think this is probably your best portable generator out of the market right now. It really is. This and the Jackeries are amazing. They're really, and if Jackery comes out with a 100 amp hour battery with a big inverter that is light and portable as they're putting them out to be, they're going to be a heavy contender in this industry. But I see a lot of good things coming out of Inergy as well. But Will gave it a hard time about its discharge rate, man. About running a microwave and it cutting off early. And Will, I don't think Will knows, man. He knows better than most. I don't think he stopped to think. I understand why it's doing that, because what they're trying to do is that if you overrun your discharge rate on these things, you're going to kill the life of these lithium batteries, and they're trying to protect that, and I respect that. So yeah, you run a microwave that's 1300 watts, you may only get 5-6 minutes out of it, but you can run a microwave on this. Get you a good 700-800 watt microwave, you can run it. The average person's 2 to 4 minutes heating up a pizza. So I'm just kind of, I've seen people run AC units on it. They didn't last long. It cut off about 2 minutes, but it can be done. It's a 1500 watt inverter with a great surge wattage on it. I mean, it just, pardon my tie of the tongue here. I'm trying to, my mind just went blank on what I wanted to say on that. But I mean, I just, just wanted to kind of give an added review of, for musicians like myself, this is a perfect unit. And if you're out somewhere, now I'm not going to tell you go plug your guitar amp into this thing. Whatever you do, go look and see what that's pulling. If you put a tube amp in this thing, it's going to shut down. I mean, you have to be very careful about what you're doing. I will say, if you're running pedal boards for your guitar, like these Line 6 boards, you're fine. I think it'll run it. Now, just be careful. Just make sure you've got a good source to charge it, because it'll run. It won't run long. I mean, you'll probably run the battery down in a few hours. But if you're in a pinch and you've got another hour to go playing, it's a good backup source to get you going if you lost power. But the whole band would probably have to have one. So, but be that it may, for recording, you can sit anywhere with this thing. It's absolutely amazing. You've got, I'll show you this, because you've got your 30 amp plug, you plug into an RV. You've got 6 AC units. You've got 4 12 volt and 2 6 volt USB. These are, I believe, I could be wrong, and pardon me if I'm wrong. These are 12 volt. And these are 12 volt sockets that are most commonly used right here. These 12 volt sockets are most definitely most commonly used. But you've got a lot of great options on this. On the side here, you've got your expansion for your batteries. So when Energy comes out with their expansion batteries, they're advising use those better than any. I mean, at best now you can put an AGM battery on it and expand it. They say it won't hurt it. You've got the light that indicates charging. This is the EC8 for the car charger, coming out of my car charger, and the vehicle is running. On the other side here, I don't think anybody shed any light on these. You got your fans, and when I ran the water kettle, the fan kicked in pretty heavy and high. I mean, it was running pretty hard. It was doing about 1550 amps. But when you unplug the kettle and quit doing it, it's just cooling the unit and calming it down. Just power it off, kick it to the DC side and back to AC, and it'll shut down. But you've got some circuit breakers right here. That's what these are right here. If it ever shuts down, you just click your AC or your DC. These are just momentary circuit breakers, and that's an addition that they put in these since the Kodiak. I don't think they had. It's when the old one shut down, they had to go through a sequence: power off, power on. So. But anyway, I don't really consider my review the greatest one in the world, but I wanted to share this because this unit is absolutely amazing. It really is. For a musician standpoint, I think it's ideal. But if I'm late night somewhere and I'm next to a bunch of RVs and I don't want to run my generator, because sometimes the noise is disrespectful, but the exhaust as well, this thing right here is the ticket. It's a ticket. I mean, I could use my Jackery. It's 150 watt inverter in it, but when you're only looking at about 25 amp hours, 24 amp hours, this thing's going to give you more life, more time. So it's just another added option for power, because anybody who RVs knows you need all the options you can with power. I mean, and this will do it. This is what a lot of these preppers use. What a lot of these people get for, you end up in a bad hurricane, man. You don't have power for a week. This thing will run your refrigerator. Just get your solar panels out there and get it done. It'll get you some lighting. It'll get you some things that you need. It'll run a Ninja blender if you need to run it. So, but anyway, I thought I would pass that on. I hope it helped. Like, subscribe if you want to. Thumb it up, thumb it down. I don't care. Hope it helps. Be cool.